Hello and welcome to Newsround.
Hi, I'm Lewis.
And I'm Madeleine. Coming up in today's programme, we take a look at some giant pandas that have arrived in Britain.
We take a look at the most expensive car crash in history.
And we find out about some penguins being released back into the wild. But first, Britain have closed the Iranian embassy. It's decided that they would shut the building because of protests in Iran, where the British embassy was attacked. And the diplomats, that's the people who work for the embassy, have been told to leave the country. William Hague, Britain's Foreign Secretary, has said that our relations with Iran are at their lowest level.
Now north of the border, Scotland have welcomed the arrival of two giant pandas. The pair are now living in Edinburgh Zoo after being flown all the way from China on Sunday. The zookeepers say that the pandas are doing well, but they are just a little bit jet lagged. It is hoped while at the zoo, the pandas will breed, as giant pandas are extremely rare and endangered in the wild.
Now over in Japan, more than a dozen supercars have been involved in the world's most expensive ever car crash. Adam Shaw reports.
For most car enthusiasts, 8 Ferraris, 3 Mercedes and a Lamborghini all on the same road is a dream. Not, however, for the drivers of the sports cars in Japan this weekend, when their fantasy cars crashed. In total, the cars are expected to be worth around £3 million, but none of the drivers were seriously hurt. It is thought that the driver of one of the Ferraris tried to change lanes but hit a crash barrier. The cars that were following hit each other one by one and left a trail of debris along the Japanese tarmac. A Toyota Prius, surprisingly not part of the supercar convoy, was also involved in the collision. The road was shut for 6 hours whilst emergency services cleared up the costly mess. The cars were believed to be travelling at up to 100 miles per hour, breaking the local speed limit by 14 miles an hour when the crash happened yesterday afternoon. A couple of the supercars cannot be repaired, and it's beginning to sound like a very expensive Christmas. Adam Shaw, UCA Newsround, Japan.
Now last week, you may remember, we looked at a massive oil spill off the coast of New Zealand. A lot of wildlife was badly affected, including a large colony of penguins. This week we have been following the penguins' big clean-up to see how they've been getting on. Sarah Moody has the latest on them.
All penguins come from the southern hemisphere. That's everywhere below the equator. When a man-made disaster happens, humans have to do all they can to help the local animals.
Penguins like these ones behind me have recently been released back into the wild following an oil spillage. Rescue workers had to work hard to clean all the penguins. However, the detergent they were using was so strong that it affected their feathers, meaning that they had to wear jumpers.
A penguin's feathers are naturally waterproof, so that they don't have to worry about getting dry after swimming in the sea. Penguins use their beaks like we use soap and hairbrushes.
They use their beaks to clean themselves, which means they will be eating the oil, especially under their flippers and in their feathers.
When speaking to the head of Birdworld, he was really passionate about how we need to help the environment that penguins live in.
Penguins can be severely affected by oil. Do you have any advice on how we can help to protect the penguins, although they're so far away in the southern hemisphere?
Well, obviously, through education, through everybody being aware, and it's part of what our job is to educate people, so that they are aware of environmental issues with penguins.
Yeah.
And certainly, from that point of view, if people are aware of the problems, then they're certainly going to help act upon things.
So the main advice is reduce, reuse, recycle?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant.
Of course, yeah.
Around 30 penguins have already been released back into the wild, and a further 300 are yet to go once they're a bit stronger so they can tackle the ocean currents. This is Sarah Moody reporting for Newsround.
Hey Lewis, why do you never see penguins in the UK?
I don't know, why don't you ever see penguins in the UK?
It's because they're scared of whales.
Oh dear. Oh. Anyway, moving on in space news, NASA have discovered the existence of an Earth-like planet outside of our own solar system. The planet is called Kepler B 22b and is circling a star very similar to our Sun, about 600 light years away. The planet is roughly 2 times the size of the planet Earth and the temperature around 22 degrees Celsius. That temperature is just right for liquid water, something that is important to support life. On our website, we asked you to send in pictures of what you think the aliens would look like. This one is by Max, age 6, and it is very scary, isn't it, Maddie?
That is quite a scary alien. And this one is by Alice, who's aged 8. However, she thought the aliens would have loads of legs.
Wow, that's a lot of shoes.
That is a lot of shoes, Lewis. That's more shoes than I have, and I have a lot of shoes. A big thank you to everyone who sent in their pictures this week.
Now in sports news, it's been announced that the England football team will be facing France, Ukraine and Sweden in Euro 2012 group stage. Also, it's been a big week for football, as Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo and Xavi have all been nominated for World Player of the Year. The winner of the award will be announced on January 7th next year.
Now, it's that time of the show again where we travel back to look at news stories of years gone by. And to keep things festive, me and Lewis have got our advent calendar to help us. So if we open the door on today's day, which is the 6th of December, we can see what was happening on this day throughout the decades.
In 1983, the first heart and lung transplant in Britain took place, and it was a complete success. It was the start of thousands of life-saving operations that took place years later.
The Queen in 1994 gave permission for oil drilling at Windsor Castle to go ahead.
And in 1977, Freddie Flintoff, the English cricket player, was born. Right, that's all we've got time for today.
We'll leave you with some festive pictures of amazing snow sculptures. And don't forget to watch X Newsround next week, where Lewis will be putting up the studio's Christmas tree.
You said you'd do that. Come on.
Bye!
Bye.